Hey guys, Lightning Bolt here, and I would like to talk to you guys about some tips about patrolling. So let me just cut to the chase. When you're patrolling, it can be nerve-wracking. You got your law enforcement around patrolling. They're basically patrolling the neighborhood, making sure everything is cool. But also, sometimes you got security cameras catch you on camera if you're in a suburban neighborhood, and then if you're really clear in your neighborhood and your surroundings, and you might know this, but when you're in your community, like actually interacting in the neighborhood and walking, like talking to people and stuff, and just being clear in your surroundings, like Miles Morales interacting with people in Harlem. If you ever play the Miles Morales game, and basically the PS5 version, then you'll know. But just like that, sometimes it could be nerve-wracking, so people don't put two and two together. But anyway, let me just start with the first tip. So the first tip is try getting out of the fear. To be honest with you, it could be nerve-wracking when you're trying to sneak out of your home. Either stay basically daytime is really not a problem, but when you're like going out and about at nighttime, then it can be a problem. But again, nerve-wracking for your first time, but the more you do it, the more you get comfortable. For me, it was really nerve-wracking when I went out my very first. It was at the time it was a Red Phantom, but it was nerve-wracking at the time because the police department. Okay, talk to that. Because the police department was like basically down the road from me, and sometimes people may call the police on me just because I may freak them out. So basically, yeah, that's basically one of them. So yeah, the more you do it, try getting out of the fear. Also, try looking on to other RLSH for better tips. And which I'm not trying to say that mine are terrible. I don't think mine are terrible, but I really don't care about other people's opinions. But meaning, what I'm trying to say is, try seeking out to other RLSH about trying to overcome the fear. Because I know a few RLSH that can help you with that, like Discordia or Dust Citizen. So, yeah. Discordia would be the best person to ask about, like her patrols and other things RLSH. She is the best when it comes to answering the questions about those topics. So, yeah, if you have a question about patrolling, ask her. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, try overcoming the fear, to be honest with you. Here's the thing I want to focus on. I'm pretty sure most people are really nerve-wracking when it comes to people's expressions when they first see you as your superhero persona. Sure, some people may think that you may be a kid who is just either playing pretend, like a toddler dressing up as Superman, wearing a towel or a red blanket as a cape, and just running around in a costume and just pretending like they're Superman in Metropolis. Probably like that. But believe you me, basically, believe me on this. People, they may not, basically, when it comes to people, I'm pretty sure they're not going to like focus on you. Basically, if they're driving, they may see you, but the most important thing is that they're driving. They can't focus more on you, because if they focus more on you and just be shocked and not focus on the road, then there may be an option of them getting into a car crash with another car. But just letting you know, I'm pretty sure people who's either driving in cars aren't gonna focus on. They're basically gonna focus on the road because they're driving. But people on the like walking down the street on the sidewalk, then they may like notice you and try to interact with you. In which some people may think that your suit may be cool. Some people may even ask who you are. In fact, just tell them who you are. I won't tell them like your real name or anything. Just tell them like who you are and why you're out here doing what you're doing. So yeah. And the other thing some people may do is some people may criticize you based on what you're out here doing. Some people may basically tell you that, oh, you just basically a dude just out here in a costume. You're very delusional, man. Basically, haters. That's what I'm talking about. And we had a lot of impact. Not I would say impact, but we had a lot of haters out in the real world who basically, I wouldn't say harass, but criticize you based on how you look, as well as the misinformation. I won't say misinformation, but misguidance of why you're out here. You know. So the best thing to do is just ignore them. To be honest, one time I was just out and about in my suit. Basically, this was before the current suit, before the red suit. I was just out here. There was a girl just gave me a weird look in a black car and just drove past me. And guess what I did? I just gave them basically a salute, like, hey, what's up? And some of them, in fact, some things I may do is just give them a peace sign, you know, just to be fun. But just letting you know, people, they may be cruel, but furthermore, they may just not interact. So even though they may not interact with you, don't get too much into that. Like, sure, superheroes make it to glory, but the most important thing is what your job is as a real life superhero, which is helping out. So basically, focus more on helping out than focusing on the expressions of what the people you're trying to help out with. And hell, some people may be, you know, glad that you're out here doing what you do. And also, just letting you know, this expressions, this attitude may change over time. You know, the more you keep on patrolling, the more you're gonna feel comfortable with it. The more things you do while you're on patrolling, the more people may see potential within. All right. So another tip is the law enforcement. Because trust me, when you are patrolling, there is a really, really peak high, Mount Everest type of high standard. You're going to interact with the police. So, basically, I've basically been confronted by the police basically 2 times. Basically, I would say that was about like 2019 a bit. But so basically, since it's 2021 and 2020, I have not been, you know, interacting with the law enforcement more. But just letting you know, there's a chance you're gonna get, you know, into the hands of the law enforcement. So basically, even though the law enforcement are people who actually have, you know, have the law by their side to actually go out and do what they do, like, you know, bust down actual crimes, and you know, also save people. But some of them may latch on to you because someone in your community may have called the police just because, you know, either your suit is like really dark and they may think that you're a thief or a robber. And trust me, that actually happened once. Is where I have my Red Phantom suit be all black and red, with a majority of the suit being black and half the suit being red. Basically, the parts of the suit were red. Someone actually called the police on me because I was out here, you know, doing what I do best, you know, picking up garbage and stuff. But also, because of my suit color. So basically, to handle these guys, and I'm pretty sure I don't really care if I get a lot of hate. I'm making criticism because of this, but try to stay calm as possible. Because law enforcement, they're not people who makes you feel uncomfortable. In fact, the law enforcement's job is to actually be someone to call when there is trouble. In fact, let me just say this. With all this Black Lives Matter and Asian, I mean, I won't say Asian stuff, but Black Lives Matter and other police brutality, this is the wrongdoing of what the police actually stands for. It stands for truth, justice, and basically being there when people need help. And by the police beating down innocent people, basically African Americans, they're breaking their own oath, to be honest. And believe me not, but I'm just letting you know, they stand for truth and justice. Even though they may be, there is some cops who are really racist when it comes to the skin color. And some cops are actually pretty nice and actually, wants to help out. But just letting you know, with all this Black Lives Matter and all this hate against the law enforcement, just know, with all these law enforcement, people not trusting them and stuff, you basically, what are you going to do when the police is no longer there, to be honest? Like what happens, let's just pause for a second. What if there was no police? Crimes may increase. Basically, if there was no police, then who's gonna take them into their punishment, which is custody? So, yeah, without police, the world would be probably if I can say this right, apocalyptic type of format. Because without law, nothing is safe. Basically, when everything is legal and stuff, it's basically like the purge. So basically, yeah, no cops, no freedom. Basically with no cops, there'll be no protection. But anyway, back on topic. Yeah, the cops. Just know, everything may have happened in the past, but they're still here for being there when the people need us. So feel free to hate them. I don't say I hate them. I despise them, to be honest. I basically, again, I don't hate anyone. I feel like what they're doing with innocent African Americans is just shooting them down and beating them up. In fact, this police brutality been there since the life of Tupac Shakur. So basically, yeah. Yeah, hell, I'm pretty sure racism been there after, after the police brutality of Tupac Shakur. Basically, racism been all through before Tupac. But I'm talking police brutality and all that stuff happens by the time of the civil rights movement, leading into Tupac Shakur and, him getting beat up by the police. But, so all this bad shit happens with the police, they're still here for us. Just know that. But anyway, yeah, to handle the police, just know, I would just tell them the truth, be honest. Why are you out here? Some people may say that they're not going to tell the police shit, then go ahead. That's on you. But for me, I don't really know if someone is just going to, basically, I don't know, let me just get this straight. I would just tell them, why you're out here and who are you? And try not to make it as a problem. Don't refuse to tell them stuff, Because, again, this is the law enforcement you're speaking to. You are not speaking to someone you're not speaking to an innocent person, But the police, they're just out here to do their job. Helping out people is actually their job. So, in fact, it actually involves payment. But, just let you know, when it comes to being an RLSH, payment is never an option. Don't do things to get paid. Some things I may say that that this job could get you know rocky and stuff. I'm not trying to say a job that involves getting payment. I don't want to get paid for helping out. The payment I really need, not need, but I really want is making someone's day come to good worldwide joy, and basically helping out to make a better future. That's just my role as a RLSH. But anyway, guys, yeah, tell them the truth. Don't lie to their face. Don't cause trouble with them. Don't make it hard for them. You know. But anyway, yeah. So the next tip is don't get too much into the crime rates, to be honest. Like, I want to patrol only for crime. In fact, if you just want to do crime prevention, then that's really fine. But just so you know, also help people. Like, also pick up garbage. If you see someone who's homeless or unhoused, then help them out. Basically helping out the homeless, or quote unquote feeding the hungry, is actually a corporal works at mercy, to be honest. But yeah, don't just do only crime. Actually help out. Actually spread, you know, spread that you're out there. Spread that you're here for the people. Don't just be here just to bust crimes. If you see a crime, then don't do nothing. But don't forget that if you're RLSH, helping out people is also important in stopping crimes. Other than that, yeah. So every RLSH has the option to do this. Basically, when you're patrolling, you have the option to patrol day or night. I'm pretty sure I might have talked about that. I think I did. So yeah, any RLSH has the option to patrol day or night. The reason why I start patrolling at night is because it's calm, and since I learned yesterday, the lenses work actually really well at nighttime. The reason why it works well at nighttime is probably because of the lights that's outside. But yeah, it's been a while. So this is another tip. But if you're RLSH, at some point in your career as a real estate bureau, actually show out your symbol of beacon. Meaning, like, actually show out your symbol. I'm not trying to say, like, show out your logo, which kind of, but actually show that you're out here. Like, don't just be your personal self, in which you can, to be honest. But show out the best you can do. That's what I'm trying to say. And also, if you're a RLSH, at least actually patrol in a suit, to be honest. It's if you want. I'm not trying to tell you, but the majority of us actually used to be patrolling suits. But anyway, guys, yeah. When you actually interact in a crime that involves, like, let's say a robbery, I recommend that you at least call the law enforcement. Unless if you actually have, like, a bulletproof arm or anything, like your suit is actually bulletproof, then if it's not, then I recommend that you call law enforcement, because if you just interact with a robbery, then the robber is just going to basically point a gun at you and tell you to get down behind your back. Or basically, like, either, the robberies type of stuff. Probably robbery. But don't forget, they're carrying an actual armed weapon on you. So be sure to contact your law enforcement as soon as possible. But for me, when it comes to patrolling, I really don't like patrolling with... Basically, I don't like interacting conflict with times where there is someone who's really armed, like a gun or something like that. This is where you actually call law enforcement. The grounds for me is basically things that you don't really need a police to handle. Um, but yeah, again, this is real life. Everyone is vulnerable to death. There's no coming back after it. To be honest, this is not like Superman. um, but yeah. So here's one thing I really want to clarify. If you are a real life superhero and you say that you patrol, then actually do it. Like, don't make up stories. Don't make up stories about, that you were patrolling and you seen something like that. But don't make up a story. Don't just be on the internet just to, fit into the RLSH group and basically lie. And that's what I'm trying to say. Also, if you are recording, which I advise you do not do, but if you're like recording and you actually stumble upon a homeless person, don't shine a camera at their face. And as you know, with the with Discordia and Good Samaritan, don't shine a light at a homeless person's face, because it will still be rude. You're entering basically their household, because the real world will be their household. But don't shine a camera at their face. It's just plain rude. It's just plain rude. Just ask for consent. But anyway, guys, if I can remember any more tips, I may make a part 2 when I think of more tips. But again, most of the tips are based on my experiences when I usually patrol. The most important ones are: be aware of your surroundings, try not to get lost. Oh, I almost forgot. A lot of RLSH says this, but it's up to you if you want to patrol with someone else, like a partner, in which you can. I'm mostly on the range of just being on my own as a real life superhero. I'm not really much into having like a sidekick, which I did used to have an RLSH partner. He just outgrew the whole RLSH career of his, and just continued doing what he does best, and just being the best he can be, being successful. But just let you know, be safe, overcome the fears. The more you patrol, the more you get comfortable. Make sure you be aware of your surroundings. I said this most of the time, but it is important you be aware of where you are. Try not to get lost. Make sure you tell the truth when it comes to the police, like why you're out here, who you are. Shine a symbol of hope to your community. Like, don't just say that you're RLSH and show us your seal and you just patrol just in your regular clothes. I don't know why some RLSH does that, but go for it, I guess. I don't know. It's what they want to do, I guess. But I'm just letting you know, if you're a real life superhero, you will actually have a suit and you choose not to wear it, and you basically just go on regular clothing and basically not wear the suit and not trying to basically symbol of hope, then try to at least overcome that. Because there was this one practice I did, which that is basically wearing a mask outdoors, in which I went, and one time I actually went and hide under my my old kid treehouse, and basically wore my mask for about like an hour or so to see if I actually could do this. I'm pretty sure it was probably a stupid idea, but Yeah, but at least try to, wear a suit, to be honest. Um, yeah. But anyway, just letting you know, guys, this is just based on my experiences when I usually patrol. Also, almost forgot to mention, when you are patrolling, try to think of things that you're going to do on patrol. Don't just basically walk and, see something. Basically. Like, what are you going to do when you're patrolling? Like, for me, I usually pick up trash. I see if anyone is in need of help. Um, Sometimes I create donations and go donate them. Um, Sometimes I go to over to my local park because I literally have because there's literally a park that's literally down the street. So yeah. But anyway, guys, this should be it. Um, in my next video, this is still in debate on my mind here. But in my next video, I may talk about some tips for being a realistic hero, if you guys want that. So all these tip videos is just going to be based on my opinions and as well as my experiences when it comes to RLSH. I don't want, to be honest, if you're a newcomer, I don't want a newcomer to feel that they are powerless or something like that when it comes to, like, basically the hardships of RLSH. That's why that's why I fear when it comes to newcomers. Like, I don't want them to get the hardships of it in their mind. But anyway, guys, yeah, I think my next video will be on some tips for being an RLSH, as well as my upcoming video, basically like probably about another day or so. I may make a tips on suit stuff because a lot of people compliment my suits. I'm pretty sure they're wondering how I make my suits. So yeah. But anyway, guys, that should be about it. See you guys in the next one.